Hello, everyone. My name is Randall Richmond, Vice President and Director of Athletics here at Kent State University. Have a special guest here in the Laing and Sandra Kennedy Trophy Room. Laing Kennedy, Athletic Director here at Kent State for 16 years. Some will consider the golden years of Kent State athletics. I had a blessed opportunity to be a student under Laing throughout my time here as a graduate assistant and a student under Laing as a entry-level employee. Laing, welcome. We're here to talk about 75 years of the MACC Center and all your time here. So welcome to the show, Laing.
Thank you very much, Randall. It's an honor for me to be here with you today, and an honor for me to be sitting in this wonderful room in our wonderful, great old MACC Center.
So, Laing, throughout your time here, you've seen some amazing events here in the MACC Center. What would you say is your most memorable event here in the MACC Center?
The most memorable event that I can recall, well, I'm going to talk about two. I remember when President Obama was running for office, and he was coming here in the MACC Center, and our capacity is 6,312, and there's over 9,000 people here. And that was a memorable event. It was a raining day. Everybody showed up. It was a marvelous, and President Obama did a wonderful, wonderful job of inspiring us to really get in the mood of supporting a great president. And then you look at many, many athletic events. I remember assuming this position and having the honor of becoming the Kent State Athletic Director in 1994. I remember the first time I walked in here and I said, this is not what I expect. I think I have a vision for some improvements. And you start looking around, and then and we assumed it was renovated in 1970. Really a nice renovation. And the picture of the MACC Center as you're celebrating the history of 75 years, and you look at that, and you look at the front of this building, you look at the landscaping, you look at the access points. It's a marvelous facility. I compare it to traditional stadiums like Wrigley Field, Fenway Park, and I remember in 1996 I had the opportunity of hiring Gary Waters to become our men's basketball coach, and he inspired me to really love this facility. He said, "This is our facility. Nobody has one like this, and our opponents don't like it." Because when they come here, they're going to lose.
Yes, sir.
And we built that culture in our teams as a home venue. And Gary was able, he was our first African-American coach, head coach at Kent State. I was very proud of that moment of having Gary join our staff. And he brought together a basketball team, and we won our first ever MACC championship. Yeah. And that was a glorious event. And leading up to that event, playing home games here and winning 15 in a row, and then in 2002 winning 30 games. It was a pretty thrilling time. And we tested the standing room only philosophy of having some games over 6,000 people here, averaging for the whole year over 4,000. That was a wonderful, exciting time to be associated with Kent State and to be associated with this facility.
I think you picked two pretty good ones, Laing. I think those would be up there at the top for a lot of people's list. Jay Alicia, my wife and I were able to be here when President Obama made it here, and seeing the basketball team come out there and interact with them was another really cool moment in that. And, you know, we had the opportunity to meet Gary Waters when he was inducted into our Hall of Fame. So those are two great legacy moments that you had here in the MACC Center. Another thing that's quite known about you, Laing, is how competitive you are. You know, I mean, as a former athlete, how competitive you were as an AD. So while there were many different projects that you were able to get commissioned here in the MACC Center, what's some of those projects that were right outside of your ability to get done that you wish you could have gotten done here?
One of the things that I thought would be a top priority really upgrading our home locker rooms for our teams. Men's basketball, women's basketball, volleyball, wrestling, gymnastics, etc. And that was done, and that was a wonderful project because it really upgraded the whole building, and really made this a unique home venue for all our teams. And we looked at that, and in the renovation, and looking at the outside of the building, and then coming inside, putting a new floor in the MACC Center in 2006, and then a new video program, so that we could live stream games, and that really upgraded the quality and the excellence of our program, having that kind of facility, and then having this as the headquarters for our athletic department. It's pretty nice. And the office space and the meeting rooms and all that, it was just first class. I was very proud. And I remember several conversations with the head coach, like Bob Lindsay, who was our head coach for our women's basketball, and Gary as a men's basketball. The culture is, we don't lose at home.
That's right.
And that became, we've got a game here, they're coming here, so we know we're going to win.
That's right.
And that became a kind of a culture thing that became a very proud thing for our teams that headquartered in this building.
Yeah, great success throughout that time period too. So in 2006, you have that renovation of the court, and Ethan and the folks are doing a great job here, so people don't hear the construction happening right behind us and all the banging. With the new court coming in, what does that mean to you, and what is that experience like, seeing us be able to do that at this point in time to help these teams continue to have that home court advantage?
When you have the home court as we had, and as it was first constructed, and then we put the new floor in 2006, it becomes a kind of an icon event for us to look at the new floor and looking at the environment, looking at the huge crowd, looking around and seeing all the team-colored uniforms of all our fans, and it was a really exciting time to be part of that. And then having our post-game interview room and pre-game interview room really lifted, in my opinion, this is first class. And that takes all of that coming together, and it did. And looking at the renovation, and you see some of the things that I had a vision that we could really make the third floor of the MACC Center, and looking at the view of the court from up above, we can really make that even something even more than we even have now.
Yeah. When you got a new floor, you're able to see all type of different matches and contests out there on that floor, and then some of them become very, very memorable. We have one that's timely with Antonio Gates going into the National Football Hall of Fame right up here in Canton, Ohio. What are your memories of Antonio playing basketball here at Kent State before he went on to become a Hall of Fame tight end in the NFL?
Yes, that's an interesting story. I treasure that story. Antonio Gates, he was a student athlete at Michigan State. And Gary Waters, and I knew this would happen, Rutgers called, said, we'd like to talk to Gary about becoming our head coach. And I said, well, I think that's going to happen, and we're looking at where do we go next. And Stan Heath, who was on the staff of the Michigan State basketball program with Coach Izzo, became the primary candidate, and we appointed Stan as our new coach. Shortly after Stan arrived as our new coach, he came to my office and he said, Laing, I need to talk to you. There is a student that was on our team at Michigan State. Not a bad player, not a great player, but someone who really wants to come here and transfer to Kent State. And in those days, transfer students, athletes, it was a different ball game than it is now.
A little bit.
It was rather tight. And I remember telling Coach Heath, well, you know, someone who wants to transfer, I need to know what the baggage we have coming if that takes place. Is he, how's his character, how's this, how's that, how's his academic standing, and everything seemed to check out. And Antonio transferred here and became, under Coach Heath, became an integral part of our 2002-03 Elite Eight team, because Coach Waters had put together a pretty good team, you know, Trevor Hoffman, Andrew Mitchell, Shaw, and Ed Norvell, and we won our first only ever MACC championship in 1999, and thinking, okay, how's this going to go? Now, Antonio had a slow start with us, and our team, we really weren't gelling in the early. In fact, we started the season 4-4.
Oh, wow.
And losing to, we never lose to Youngstown, but we lost to Youngstown. But then it took off, and we won the next 18 consecutive games, and went on and won 30. Antonio Gates became the difference maker of us becoming a very good team, that's really a good team. And it was Antonio Gates. And opponents really had problems dealing with this guy. He averaged over his 3 years with us 18 points a game and 8-9 rebounds per game. But that's not the whole story. Yeah. He scored the key basket. If we had to have a stop, Antonio was the stopper. Yeah. And he was an integral part, and he became a star. And Antonio, I became very close to Antonio. And I remember, this is later on in my time. It might have been around 2008, 2007. Antonio just had signed a new contract with San Diego Chargers for $22 million. And I remember standing at the top of the MACC here, Antonio, I want to talk to you. And he was so close to graduating. Less than one term he had to finish. And I said, Antonio, why don't you finish your term and graduate? Your mother will be really proud of that. And he said, well, Mr. Kennedy, my mother is really proud of me now. and he said, but I would like to have my jersey hung in to join my teammate. And how can I make that happen? He said, well, we have a rule. You need to graduate. And you would certainly meet the criteria for us to hang your jersey. And he says, well, let me think about that. And then after a while, I have a chance to talk to Antonio. How's it? He says, oh, it's going great, going well. And how's it coming on your decision to hang me? I said, well, we're going to do it. That's good. We're going to do it. And I remember the day we did it, and we had pictures taken, and everything was fine, and we hung that. It was a great day. And later on, in San Diego, they had a TV show, local TV show, Houses of the Great and Famous. Yeah. And they toured his house. Yeah. And it shows Antonio walking around his house, pretty nice house. A little bit, yeah. Yeah. and meeting his family, etc. And he comes to a corner table by the front door. And he said, this is my most prized possession in this house. And the picture was of Antonio and me the day we hung his jersey. Oh, wow. He said, I'm just so proud of my time at Kent State playing with my guys, my teammates, and now I have my jersey hanging in the MACC Center. He said, I'm going into the NFL Hall of Fame. That's pretty good. Yeah. But he said, my time at Kent State was special. Yeah. And in fact, I noticed that the NFL Hall of Fame festivities in his cubicle of his life, he shows, there's a lot of pictures of San Diego, but there's one picture of him playing basketball at Kent State. He said, I'm just so proud of that time I had at Kent State.
That's very special, man. Very special, Laing. Did you have any idea, you knew he was going to go pro. Did you have any idea that he was going to go pro and become one of the greatest football players at his position of all time.
I did not, but I remember a conversation with Coach Christian, who succeeded Coach Heath, and Jim Christian said he's going to have an NFL tryout day right here at our field house, and he did well, and Jim said he's going to be an all-star in the NFL. He's fast, he's strong, and when you look at Antonio, the physique of him is a very handsome young man, and he is built as an athlete. You know he's an athlete. And you know he's a really good athlete. And when you shake hands with Antonio, one thing I realized with him, you know your hand's been shaken.
Yeah, come around, shake a little bit off of that. That's fantastic. So, Laing, there's been some footage that has been found of a scrimmage here in about the 2000 with the Cleveland Cavaliers and one LeBron James. Do you recall how that scrimmage came about?
I do not recall the arrangement to have it happen, but I know it happened. I know LeBron was coming, and LeBron has been in the MACC Center several times, off and on.
That's right.
And he, I love LeBron. I love what he's brought to us all as a world-class athlete. And the one thing that I think is a little bit of a negative of LeBron, he was tied into the Akron Zips.
Yeah, that would be the one thing. That's right.
And whenever we played Akron, here at the MACC Center or over at Akron, LeBron was going to be there.
That's right.
And he was, obviously, you know, it's LeBron.
That's right.
And he sits and he cheers and he shows no bias to, he loves his Zips.
That's right.
And he goes on. And so I know when you look at the Cavaliers and looking for venues that they would like to, preseason games, preseason practice, we're on the list. And when we talked to the executive director and the managers of the Cavaliers, they said, yeah, we like to come to Kent. It's close. People will come and watch, and we get a good crowd. And that was another special event.
Yeah.
A lot of people here.
All the time. And he got it fair. He had a lot of his former teammates from St. Vincent, St. Mary who were on those teams of the school down the road, the Zips, always supporting. I'll tell you, one of my first memories of being an employee here was when Charlie Fry versus Josh Cripps, right there at Dick Stadium, and LeBron came to that contest. And the only reason I knew, as I was out there working beer sales, you know what I mean, as part of my compliance duties as assigned, you see a crowd of people just following this entity that stands above them right in the middle, you know what I mean, everywhere around the venue. And they saw a fantastic game there with Josh Cripps going against Charlie Fry in the night game. So it's always special when LeBron was able to be in the venue. So well done in getting them and the Cavaliers down here to engage. So as I mentioned at the very beginning, we're sitting here in the Laing and Sandra Kennedy Blue and Gold Trophy Room. And that you graced us, you and Sandra, with naming this room during our first year here together. Could you share why that was so special for you to name this room and the legacy that was created right here in this space?
I go back, and I remember when you were appointed athletic director here at Kent State. That was a proud moment for Sandra and I. We were very fond of you, Rendon, and your family. We thought you're a good hire, and I was very proud of that. And then we were thinking about doing some things because my heart and soul is part of Kent State.
Absolutely.
Spending time here as the athletic director, seeing the coaches, seeing the athletes that come and go, and going on doing great things in this world. And then there's something that I would like to do. And my wife Sandra says, I agree, we should do something. And looking at this room has been here. Yeah. And there are a lot of trophies, and there are a lot of furniture that was getting old and looking a little shabby. Yeah. And I said, this needs to be fixed up. And I think we should fix it up and have it as a gift from us to Kent State Athletics. and here it is. And we are very proud of this.
Yeah, I'm very proud of it too, Laing. And I remember us standing right outside the MACC Center here in the back, and you tell me, Randall, I want to do something. Me and Sandra really want to do something and really help. And then you shared the story that in this room is where you used to have all those planning meetings, all those strategy meetings, all the meetings about culture, all the meetings about the things that you were looking to do, not only for Kent State, but the community at large. And a lot of those things impacted a lot of people. And I happen to be one of those people who were impacted by the decisions made here when I was able to get a GA ship working under Bob Heller and working under your leadership. And you and Sandra has always been so gracious to Jay Alicia and I, and whether we saw you at church or at, I think it was Little City Grill, you know what I mean,
Yes.
having breakfast.
That's right.
You've always been so gracious to us. So we really appreciate you too, appreciate your leadership, appreciate everything that you've done for Kent State and Kent at large. Laing, so both you and I are wearing some bling today. All right, so for me, the way I go about it is all of our champions from the year before, right out there on my table, I'll have the different rings displayed. Inside the ring case are the rings from the previous years, and they all have a story. And each of them have a story on the outside. And I use that when I have different visitors to tell the story of Kent State, because what I say is, it's not that Kent doesn't have great success, it's that we whisper our success instead of yelling it. And I want to yell it. So I have them out there, and someone asks a question about a ring, I'll have a different story per the different rings that are around the table. I see that you have a ring on here today. What's the story behind that ring that you have?
Oh, the story. Let me expand on that a little bit. In this room, I would have, and you have them, I'm sure you have them, I would have head coaches meetings.
Yes, absolutely.
And we were doing well. We were winning MACC championships. And when I'm talking to them and I said, okay, when you win a championship, you're going to buy rings for your team. And you need to add one more ring to your list. And that one's for me. and when I retired in 2010, the student athletes here at Kent State gave me and Sandra a really nice gift. It's a shadow box.
Oh, yeah.
And in that shadow box, in my home, I have 85 MACC championship rings won by Kent State teams. And it's absolutely amazing. And when you're going on a run, like with women's basketball, men's basketball, gymnastics, soccer, women's soccer, and it's wonderful. And then in the year 2012, this is after I retired, I get a call from the director of the National Association of College Directors of Athletics. And the conversation was like, Laing, I'm pleased to inform you we're going to induct you into the Hall of Fame of the National Association of Athletic Directors. Unbelievable. And this is the ring I got. I wear. It's a little nubbed up, a little chipped up, because I wear it all the time. I'm proud of it.
It's a culmination of all the ways that you've impacted others throughout your career. I mean, great success. So congratulations to you for that, Laing. So appreciate you sitting down with me here today to talk about all the great things Kent State, and as we celebrate the 75th year of the MACC Center. With that, you were here with Vice President, Director of Athletics, Randall Richmond, and the Laing Kennedy, great legacy of Kent State leadership. Thank you all for joining us today, and as always, go Flashes.